Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. How disappointing must it be to figure out that your significant other, the person you love, thinks that what you do for a living is kinda like a hobby? This one's from user Nursery Bones. Found out what my boyfriend really thinks about my job. I have been nannying for my first ever nanny family since September. I love them so much and the kids are precious to me. I would gladly do anything for them. They have taken care of both me and my boyfriend in so many ways. I used to be a pastry chef before moving to my current city and was burnt out and honestly couldn't make a living here with a pastry chef salary. My boyfriend is in school to be a savory chef and is not working due to the health crisis. The other night I said, I have never felt so fulfilled in a job and I think I want to go back to school for a career that works with children. His response floored me. He said, "You're just gonna be a nanny for the rest of your life? Come on, OP. You can't do that forever. Be serious." I was so hurt. I take care of nanny kids all day. I take care of nanny partners' messes. I come home and take care of his messes and our dogs, one of which is a puppy. The work I do doesn't stop when I get home. I do all the housework. I'm an emotional support to him. I cook, I clean, I take care of the dogs all day. It is just as much of a job as his. I am insulted that he thinks my choosing to work with children is not a valid, lucrative path. People are always going to need childcare. When times get tough, restaurants are the first thing people cut out of budgets. I have never once questioned his career path or his decision to go to school, especially now, when restaurants will probably never be the same. I fully support his choices. I know he has always looked down on my job, often saying, "I can't believe you got paid to sit in a hot tub and jump on a trampoline all day." Or when telling people what I do, he always adds, "But it's for a really rich family and the dad is a big deal." Like, if I nannied for a doctor, it wouldn't be as important work? I have never been so insulted, specifically after finding a job that makes me genuinely so happy. I was excited to share that discovery with him, and now it just makes me sick. I guess I just needed to vent. Ugh. Well, OP, this is kind of a sad situation with the fact that your boyfriend thinks that this is some kind of a hobby or maybe like a lesser job or something. Which of course is absolutely wrong. What you do is a proper job. You get paid for it and best of all, you're happy with it. So much so that you want to follow a career regarding taking care of kids. So to sort this whole mess out, the one thing I would suggest is sit down with him and talk to him. Tell him that this is what fulfills you, this is what makes you happy, and based on what he says in that conversation, then you're going to have to make a decision. But of course, that's just my opinion. So let's move on with the community comments to see what kind of advice they gave OP, and of course, later we have the update. Delete It says, "I'm sorry. There is an advantage perhaps to knowing he feels this way though. Do you have a plan to have children with him one day? If so, you have a glimpse of what his level of appreciation and respect will be for the work you do with your own children." What's Unk02 says, "That's why I'm still single. Most guys I meet don't believe it's a real job, though I make more than some of them, live and support myself independently. I've been told, why don't you do retail, waitress, etc. I'm like, no disrespect, but most of those careers in this health crisis have been sidelined, while I've been working overtime. I get it." OP responds, "Exactly. I'm the one who is working every day while he sits at home in a little party. But to be fair, he does take care of the dogs and does school online. Still, but man, this has been more than eye-opening." Kiwi Peach 28 says, "My husband used to resent my job because it seemed easier than his, and it honestly was at the time. His old company was horrible. But once my salary surpassed his views started to change and now he's asking me to stick with nannying until we can start our own small business. I actually had a nanny friend who went to culinary school and ended up in nannying for similar reasons to yours. Nannying can be very lucrative. It can be fun, rewarding, and flexible. High level of job security. People will always need childcare. It's a job you can always come back to, no matter your age or where you live. But on a personal note, as someone who is 39 weeks pregnant and doesn't have to worry about childcare, I don't know any other careers where I can bring my kid to work. So, OP responds, exactly. It's too bad that just because childcare is associated with traditional women's work that most women end up doing for free as parents, it is seen as easy. I find that most people don't love their jobs and see things that people enjoy doing as not being work. I got this all the time as a pastry chef. Oh, you just bake cakes all day. That sounds so fun. You don't have to be miserable for it to be considered valid work. Just because you enjoy it doesn't mean it's easy. Also, congratulations on the baby. So happy you have a career that really is about that work-life balance. I totally agree with OP's last comment. A job is something that you should enjoy. If you're miserable at your job, then maybe you're doing the wrong thing. Although, you might need the money. So that's where the dichotomy is. Anyways, that's beside the point of this story. So let's continue with the update to see what happened with OP and her boyfriend. So I'm breaking up with him. The disrespect for what I do for a living was a final, but not solely final, straw. I come from a very broken home and have no one and nowhere to go to. Moving across the country with my boyfriend has been financially draining, and I am living paycheck to paycheck as I cover most of the bills in our relationship. When telling my nanny mom I was going to break up with him when our lease was up in September, I can totally make it that long and I cannot get out of it, plus his mother would crucify me financially. I was nervous it meant goodbye. I live in the Bay Area and would have a hard time finding a place with 2 big dogs that I could afford. So, in my mind, the only option was to leave. Nanny mom responded with, OP, I think of you as a daughter and a friend. I don't want you to go anywhere until you have decent savings and are emotionally ready. They offered me the guest house, rent and utilities free, and will pay me a stipend weekly so I can build back up my savings and cover my bills. Today, Nanny Mom showed me colleges in the area I could go to and scholarships I could apply for. She told me that I deserve a degree in the career I wanted. Nanny Mom has been more of a mother to me than my biological mother has ever been, and I am so thankful to have found them. I have never had such support from anyone, honestly. I love them so much. Well, OP, this is great news. 1, you got rid of that lump you called a boyfriend who thought you were doing whatever with your life. And now you've got a family that actually supports you and that is helping you out, which is great. So OP, this is the moment where I wish you the best in your new career. Hopefully you'll find a college and you'll get a scholarship that suits you and you'll be able to follow your dream. All the best, OP. There is still a little bit of time left on the video, so I'm gonna see if I can squeeze in a quick post. This one's from user Yellowcopter. Today I effed up by complimenting my date's butt. I, 32 female, went on my first date in nearly a year last night. We met on a dating app. He, 33 male, was pleasant and polite, but for me, there was no romantic feelings, and while I had a nice time, I wasn't interested in seeing him again. We parted ways with a smile and texted each other that we got home safely. I went to bed. This morning, he sent me a somewhat lengthy text about how he had a wonderful time, felt a lot of chemistry, and couldn't wait to hang out again. I was hesitant on the best way to respond, so I sat on it for a while. Eventually, in the middle of unloading groceries and wrangling my toddler, I decided I was being a jerk by not replying, and grabbed my phone to bite the bullet and send a "Thanks, you're great, but not the one for me"-esque message. Except instead, I typed what I thought was thanks and hit send accidentally. That would have been fixable, but it didn't say thanks as it turns out. My phone instead autocorrected my message to "that ass." That ass. So I've now sent this dude I meant to let down gently a text message aggressively complimenting his butt. It's been 15 minutes. He has not yet responded, and it's been too long for me to quickly own the screw-up. So here I sit. Well, there's not much I could say about this one, so let's move on straight away to the community comments and see what they had to say. G-Funks says, follow up with, might be fine to someone else, but it's a no from me, dog. Blank Space says, okay, you can still save this. Just say you were busy, wanted to say thanks, but it autocorrected, and you didn't notice you sent it until now when you were scrolling through your messages and saw it. OP responds, yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Jorikel says, to inject some unnecessary seriousness to this today I effed up. I think a lot of people get too wrapped up in feeling it on the first date or finding the quality of a romantic vibe. While it's great if you have love at first sight, I personally would trust feelings less if they're so pronounced so soon into meeting someone. Chances are romance may not exactly be what you're feeling. On the other hand, dates also add pressure, so maybe that first date isn't enough for romance. But if you go on 9 dates before you decide whether there's something there, you're practically already going steady. Then things get awkward if you and the other person came to a different conclusion. So maybe the traditional dating format is lose-lose. Either you meet and decide you want to bang into eternity from one night of conversation, or you risk turning into settling soulmates because you went on 47 dates and now you just don't want to hurt their feelings. But what do I know? I met my wife on an online video game. Well, OP got some pretty good advice on how to get out of it, and also a very interesting comment about feeling it. So now, let's move on with the update to see what OP did. Thanks for all the comments, not to mention all of the perspectives I definitely did not consider. A few clarifications. I haven't dated since dating apps were a thing, and I was married for 7 years, so please give me some grace for being very bad at this. We went on an outdoor date, a walk on the boardwalk near where we live, and didn't so much as hug. Wore masks anytime we were close to other people. Turns out, not too many people walk outside at night when it's 40 degrees though. Both he and I have kids, so the single mom run for the hills thing goes both ways, right? My intended text wasn't the exact phrase, thanks, you're great. I think that would be super rude. I would have been kind and appropriate, had I not instead just written, that ass, but here we are. No, I don't know why my phone autocorrected to that ass. I am glad it makes people think I have a much more interesting life and Google search history than I do. Finally, the update. He sent me back a link to the music video for Mr. Jones. I do not know if this was also an accidental text or if I'm missing some symbolism here. Counting Crows fans, please advise. We then chatted about the Cleveland Browns as if nothing weird had happened. In any case, I decided the universe, and Reddit, was facilitating enough rom-com vibes and don't be so quick to judge comments that I might as well go on one more date with a nice, friendly dude with, for what it's worth, a pretty decent butt. Well, OP, at least you're open to being surprised, right? Go ahead and have fun on your second date. Anyways, for anybody who is thinking about the Mr. Jones and Counting Crows thing, I'm just gonna read one comment that addresses it. This one is from Zachbert. Is he a bit shy? Mr. Jones was written about guys that are too shy to talk to women and wishing they were successful because it would make it easier. Maybe he wasn't expecting your comment and it is just his shy way of reacting? Okay, what do you guys think about this Mr. Jones thing? Let me know in the comment section. And so we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you guys liked it. If you did, go ahead and click like. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Also, here are more videos from my channel that you might enjoy. And having said all that, I will see you guys on the next video.